Hi guys. Put simply, privacy and security are converging thanks to the rise of big data and machine learning. What was once an abstract concept designed to protect expectations about our own data is now becoming more concrete and more critical. In parallel with the threat of adversaries accessing our data without authorization, then, more specifically, the threat of unauthorized access to our data used to pose the biggest danger to our digital lives. That was a world in which we worried about intruders attempting to get a data we wanted private. And it was a world in which privacy and security were largely separate functions, where privacy took a backseat to the more tangible concerns over security. Today, however, the biggest risk to our privacy and our security has become the threat of unintended inferences due to the power of increasingly widespread machine learning techniques. Once we generate data, anyone who possesses enough of it can be a threat, posing new dangers to both our privacy and our security. These inferences may, for example, threaten our anonymity, like when a group of researchers used machine learning techniques to identify authorship of written text based simply on patterns in language. Similar techniques have been used to identify software developers based simply on the code they have written. These inferences might reveal information about our political learnings, like when researchers used the prevalence of certain types of cars in Google Street View image database to determine the local political affiliations. Or these inferences might also indicate intimate details about our health, like when researchers used online search history to detect neurodegenerative disorders such as Alzheimer's. So, what does a world look like when privacy and security are focused on preventing the same harms? To start with, privacy will no longer be the merely immaterial or political concept it once was. Instead, privacy will begin to have substantial impacts on businesses' bottom lines, something we began to see in 2018. Facebook, for example, lost a whopping $119 billion in market capitalization in the wake of the Cambridge Analytica scandal because of concerns over privacy. Polls show that consumers are increasingly concerned about privacy issues, and governments around the world are reacting with new privacy legislation of their own. Within organizations, this convergence also means that the once clear line between privacy and security teams is beginning to blur, a trend that businesses in general and security and privacy practitioners in particular should embrace. From a practical perspective, this means that legal and privacy personnel will become more technical and technical personnel will become more familiar with legal and compliance mandates. The idea of two distinct teams operating independent of each other will become a relic of the past. And this means individuals and governments alike should no longer expect consent to play a meaningful role in protecting our privacy, because the threat of unintended inferences reduces our ability to understand the value of our data, our expectations about our privacy, and therefore we can meaningfully consent to and are becoming less consequential. Being surprised at the nature of the violation, in short, will become an inherent feature of future privacy and security harms. This is precisely why the recent string of massive data breaches are so troubling. The problem isn't simply that unauthorized intruders accessed these records at a single point in time. The problem is all the unforeseen uses and all the intimate inferences that this volume of data can generate going further. Once described by the Supreme Court Justice as the right to be let alone, privacy is now best described as the ability to control data we cannot stop generating, giving rise to inferences we can't predict. And because we create more and more data every day, these issues will only become more pressing over time. So that is why I think both cybersecurity and privacy will never die, and you did a great choice by joining this course.